Good day, Riftbounders. Now, we have a few more cards coming here, as Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays do seem to be the main days that we get releases and reveals for the card game. That being said, there are a few more cards that were released over the night, but unfortunately they are currently just in Chinese, with translations being a bit rough, so I don't want to be showing those off in case the wording changes during the English production of these cards. But with only a few weeks left until the full release in China, we shall get these cards sooner than later. First off, the Jowlfish, or Yowlfish, depending on where they want this to be proliferated vocally. 7 cost, 2 power, for the might of 6. He's a very big fish. Accelerate, so you can pay 1 more in body to get this to be readied. I cost 2 less for each of your mighty units, and mighty unit is a unit with 5 plus might. I'm not hungry. It's not territorial. It just really hates boats, which I can understand for a fish that probably gets hunted by the fishermen in the area. Overall, though, this does seem to be a fairly good inclusion into the Volibear deck, or even the forthcoming Fura deck. As we know, it's yellow-orange. Makes sense that you want to have mighty units in a mighty deck and play this out for cheaper in a deck that says, hey, we have mighty units. For instance, if you have 4 mighty units on the field, this only costs you its power scaling, so pretty good. Baru Captain, for a cost of 3, power of 1, for 3 might. When you play me, you may draw 1 or buff me, which again, in a deck similar to the last one, very good, especially when you want to be trying to push towards that 5 might for mighty. The Buru knew these waters long before the flotsam of Bilgewater washed upon our shores. We know them still. Just, nomadic people, proud of their lands, and happy with the pirates. Honest Broker, 2 cost, 2 might, deaf keel. Play a gold gear token exhausted. Among criminals, gangsters, and thieves, she trades in the most valuable currency, trust, which is far between these days. Great looking card for something like Renata, as she is getting a cool reveal later this week, hopefully. We did see it in Chinese, but hopefully we get it in English, and we can report on it when it turns up for us. But again, more gold generation, very good. And then 2 for 1 might, Treasure Hunter. When I move, play a gold gear token exhausted. Again, first turn play, move it somewhere that's free, get yourself a free gold. Very good indeed. Siva, I believe, is purple, and she will like gold, and possibly Ezreal will like gold, and then maybe Jinx will like gold. So there's always a place for some low-end token generation going on in these decks. Again, very cost-effective. 2 for 2 cards, essentially. Very good. Our first new battlefield, Treasure Hoard. When you conquer here, you may pay 1 to play a gold gear token exhausted, which, I'll save the gold for later. As gold can't be destroyed currently by your opponents, it makes sense that we just want to hoard some gold and use it later, without really having to pay the seals in Reprimand. Premonition, cost 2, free power in this case though. Reaction, may play this anytime before spells and abilities resolve. Draw 3. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think if it was 2 for 2 and draw 3, I'd feel a little bit better, because you're still having to lose those runes for the turn. Wisdom through power, power through wisdom. A lot of people are saying that this would be good in Renata, which makes sense because she makes a lot of gold, so you just basically go, yeah, I'll spend the gold on the power. So, yeah, pretty good. It does seem to have the artwork of Shamanicism, which means probably more Freljordian, so maybe we'll see something in the next set with Ash, because I can't remember who's in the box art for the next set. Maybe Sejuani, love some Sejuani. Maybe Udyr, maybe get a blue-orange Udyr. Something to look forward to in the next set. Something I don't think we were all expecting. Oh no, it's the Onion set, so it makes sense, but I think a lot of people were expecting more this in our later set. But Yone, Blade Master, cost of 5, power of 1, 5 might. He's a very mighty boy. Webmaster, when you play me, you may equip one of your equipments to me for 1 power less, even if it's already attached. When I conquer an open battlefield, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit in the base, which is nothing to shake a wobbly samurai sword at. Overall, though, this is a really cool card, and a way to actually fight back in the back rows, which is something that Orange had problems with so far. But this was also revealed by Moldhound, which is quite interesting because, yeah, I think it kind of suits him. Warmog's armor now, for a cost of 1, an attachment of 1. When I conquer, buff me. If I don't have a buff, I get +1 buff, and then 1 might as it should be. I don't know how I feel about Warmogs, because Warmogs is regeneration outside of battle. So I suppose it's after I conquered, the battle started and finished, and now it's the peacetime, so I guess it makes some sense. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting because it costs 1, and then obviously if you conquer or you survive, you essentially get +2 might. So costing well, just not sure on the aesthetics. BF Sword, my best friend sword. You know what the F word stands for. 4 cost, attach for an order, and it certainly is big. Might of 3. I don't know how I feel about this card, personally speaking, because normally its power is the same as its cost. In this case, we're reducing it by 1. 3 is still pretty big. I think if this was like a generic colour where it could be any deck, it'd be fine, because you're basically losing a power for genericness. But unfortunately, in this sense, I do feel that we have lost a little bit of the true bigness that is the sword. Altar of Memories. Cost of 2. When a friendly unit dies, you may exhaust me to draw 1. Then put a card from your hand on top or bottom of your main deck. Pretty good at cycling cards out of hand. If we ever have a card that says, hey, when I get returned from the hand to the bottom of the deck, you can play me instead for reduced cost. That would be interesting. It was brought up this might be good in Renata, because maybe it's a case of you trying to find your key pieces. Obviously, a friendly unit has exploded. So, we'll see. But yes, I think there's a place in this for decks that want to churn through their cards a little bit quicker. World Atlas, cost of 3. Equip for a mind. When I hold, play 2 gold gear tokens exhausted. Which again, any deck that is blue and will want access to more gold, this is going to be a great inclusion. Probably only 1 or 2 of in the deck. I don't really expect it to be the big bad card of the deck, but again, generating lots of gold is kind of going to be the gameplay for Ezreal and Renata. And I suppose any other blue deck that can maybe fit in a card or 2 that's giving you gold for relatively cheap sizes. For 0, but a power of chaos called Shot. Action, play on your turn or in the showdowns. Repeat for a power of chaos. You may repeat this with the additional cost used. Look at the top 2 cards of your main deck, draw 1 and recycle 1. This is very good if you do have ways of getting out certain cards, like a Nocturne, especially if you're playing like 3 of those, and you've got, let's say, 7 cards left, and you've not seen a Nocturne yet. There's a good chance that you'll be finding a Nocturne within these next 4 cards, and you'll just have a scary Nocturne coming down very soon, or 2. Again, I think a very good card in purple decks that can reliably. And then we have Jax the Unrelenting. For a cost of 4, the body, might of 3. Weapons Master, when you play me, you may equip one of your equipment to me for a power less, even if it's already attached. And then when you attach an equipment to me, you may pay 1 to draw 1. Which is, I think, a fairly good card. It's going to be giving you some good card advantage to bring back the card you just obviously played out, which is Jax. Now, Jax also has the Warden skin as the alternate art for this line, which I think is a fairly good skin. I would have preferred Jaxmas myself, just looking at you, kid. But nonetheless, I think it's a pretty darn good card. Overall, these reveals have been pretty good, and I'm excited to see what we get tomorrow for our next round of reveals.